All right. Hello, Kansas City. We're back again with another KC Anthem interview. Thank you for coming on the show, Hellevate.
No problem. What's going on?
Thanks for having us out.
Hello, guys. Now, how do you define the genre of your band? What would you say?
We've had this discussion a lot of times, and we never really came up with a good answer for it.
Really?
We're a metal band. That's just kind of what we go with.
Heavy metal?
Yeah,
I'd say
pretty much.
progressive thrash. Kind
There's
of.
a lot
bit
of
of power. There's a lot of things.
We have a lot of
If you want
influences.
to try and go sub-genres, we can do this all day. So.
But it generally falls under heavy metal, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Old school, am I saying the wrong thing when I say that it's like a throwback?
Influences
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
with a modern feel.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say. I mean, that's all you can really say about it.
Right, and that's actually how I described it on my Mr. Smiley's Hell episode last night. I did a 11-11 special. 11-11-11,
Nice.
11-11-11. A lot of ones. But
Goes up to 11.
it is cool, and I did want to ask you guys specifically, since it is an old school metal style, you're a young group of guys, and some of you guys, well, the genre of metal that you're playing was already on its way to obscurity by the time you were born. What made you want to start a metal band of that sound?
That was kind of me, actually. I started, I'd been playing, guitar and stuff since I was about 10. I didn't really, start taking it seriously till about age 14. And it was around that time or a year or so after I decided I wanted to start my own band. And I don't know, I just never really listened to radio much. I'd pretty much been raised on what my dad showed me. And I don't know, I just started listening to Black Sabbath, Motorhead, all those guys.
Nice.
And I don't know, it's just, I was into a lot of different genres of rock, punk, classic rock, all that stuff. But when I finally really got into metal, that was kind of sold it for me. I decided this is what I want to do. And
So it had a lot to do with the music your dad listened to. That's cool.
That's the same with me too. My dad listened to a lot of old school metal, and that's pretty much all I listened to. So it was just easy enough to kind of get hooked on it, and that's all I listened to. It was awesome.
Yeah, and he and I have been friends since we were little kids. And honestly, he was the one that introduced me to a lot of the metal I listen to, even still today. But I grew up with classic bands like Sabbath, Ozzy, the Doors, good old classic rock, and then one day he introduced me to Iron Maiden, and that's what sold it for me.
Wow. Man, that's a memory there. You actually remember who introduced you to Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
And he took me to my first metal show too. We went to Slayer back in 06 or 07. We skipped our high school homecoming or whatever to go to Slayer.
Yes.
And that was my first metal show, and that's honestly what sold it for me. That was the final selling point. Once I went to that show, that was it. I was just blood, sweat, and tears in the metal, man. That's just
Nice. Well, I bet. I mean, Slayer has done that to a lot of people.
yeah.
Well, that's interesting. So you guys were able to not be seduced by the Pearl Jam genre that we're in now.
Hell no.
Sorry about that, guys. There's a little white zombie on there, by the way.
Nice.
But you're more influenced by the traditional old school metal bands, and that's cool, and that's evident in your sound. And you've been gaining a lot of popularity around Kansas City. Every time I have a metal band on, it seems like they mention Hellevate.
Oh, yeah?
So congratulations.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is badass. And I know Dana Scott from Mad Libby is a big fan.
Yeah,
She was my
his
drum teacher.
actually.
Really?
Yeah, that's how we know her.
So you went to the School of Rock or something? Or?
Yeah.
That's how we met.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's how we met this kid over here.
Okay.
So,
Very nice. And so you've all obviously been playing since a young age because you're still young now. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, let's talk more about your history. You said that you founded the band back in 2007 or something, right?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
The full kind of story, like I said, I was around 15, 16. I wanted to get my own band together. At the time, I didn't really have any particular style in mind. I just knew it wanted to be in the metal, area. So I just put out some Craigslist ads, stuff like that. Worked with one drummer for a little while, and I met Joe around that time too. We worked together for a little while.
Yeah, I was actually one of the original members, but I ended up leaving for a little bit creative differences at the time. I think we're just kind of immature, but ended up coming back. So,
and we went through a couple different lineups with that. Finally, like I said, I met Zach at that School of Rock thing. We were doing they do different themes like for every couple months or so, and then they do a big show at the end. And the theme we were on was classic metal, and that was the first semester Zach showed up. And I remember he came in. He was about 13 at the time. He comes in with his bass and his little, what was it, effects pedal thing, and he plays the solo for Orion by Metallica, like note for note at age 13. I was like, you want to be in my band, dude? I was like, yes, yes. So, and then RJ had been drumming for a little while, around 11 or so when we started.
10,
something like that. Yeah. And,
wow.
He had finally gotten they were about the same age, and actually their birthdays 2 days apart, so they were pretty much the same age.
Next week.
And the two on the ends here, you're brothers, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
These two guys.
RJ and Dan.
Yep.
How's that work out in the band? Is that difficult?
They hate each other. No.
Actually, it's fairly convenient, I would say. It's kind of more of along the lines like a family business almost. Like it's kind of nice. Like they both live in the same house, and then we all practice there.
Same interest in music.
Yeah,
You
it's
don't have to carry the drums.
It definitely helps chemistry too. Like honestly, I think a lot of the great like metal bands and bands in general typically had either brothers in it or some kind of family involvement. A lot of bands are like that, and for whatever reason, that just kind of is a trend of good chemistry in bands. And I think it's a great thing.
So since 2007, has your music style changed at all? Or?
Oh yeah.
It's progressed for sure. I mean, we've gotten better. I mean, obviously, got to start somewhere. We've gotten like 10 times better. Even the past like 2 years, like we've definitely stepped it up quite a bit. And I mean, as you get older, you progress with even what kind of music you listen to when it kind of influences you. And we still like our influences have always been like what we kind of grew up on. But I think what's unique about us is that we all bring, like a lot of bands out there, we all bring different stuff to the table. But we honestly, all the music we write, we say to write a song, we don't say, okay, I want to write a song that sounds like this song. I want to write a song that sounds like this song by Motorhead or by Maiden. Like we just kind of start writing stuff.
We have a lot of different writing styles.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like that's why a lot of our songs can be fairly different, but still like has a kind of our sound. But
you can tell it's still
us, but it's not like nothing. Kind of, it's very dynamic. I'd say.
What is that writing process like? How do you?
There's lots of different ways. Sometimes, sometimes one of us will come in with a song that's almost all the way done already, and we'll work on that from there. Sometimes we'll just come in with a handful of riffs and make something.
Put
out
it
of
together.
That.
Yeah.
There's lots of different ways we do.
And Dan makes some computer version of songs on Pro Tools he has.
Yeah, I just kind of mess around with different, Reason, GarageBand, just little recording programs like that, make my own songs, and then build on it from there with these guys.
That's interesting. I don't think I've ever had a band come on and say that they do that. So you guys are technologically savvy. Yeah.
Sort of, sure, I guess.
You do a lot of the Facebook marketing and got a lot of people liking your page. Yeah.
Yeah.
Starting to. Starting to like us.
Yeah.
Hopefully
we'd like more.
Well, very cool. Who are some of the bands you play with here in Kansas City?
Actually, Kansas City has quite a few very good metal bands. I think people actually are surprised at the amount of good bands around here. Like Kansas City's
we got our own little circle of bands almost that we play with a lot. We got Van Lade, we love playing with those guys. Meat Shank rules. Ancient Creation, the Tards, even though they just
Troglodyte, and then
Troglodyte.
There's something
Ancient Creation.
Yeah, Collapse. Yeah, we were on their Collapse Fest this past summer, and that was a lot of fun. Like we've probably played at some point with every band in this city. At least at one point.
Not every.
Not every band.
As far as metal goes, every band you named, I've actually interviewed. So it's
crazy.
That's good.
I think the only band that we have yet to really play with, I'd probably have to say, would be probably Hammerlord.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you about that because I think that would be that's kind of a match made in heaven right there. You guys playing with Hammerlord, I think would be a really good show.
Yeah,
we'd love to.
That'd be awesome.
Well, Terry, their bass player, I started talking to Jeff from Troglodyte a couple months back, we've been talking to Chris, the drummer, for a while, and Chris, I'd seen us a couple times, and we kept saying, hey, we want to do a show with Trog, like, put the word in for us.
Right.
And then finally, I just messaged Jeff, and I was like, hey, we really love you guys. Like, you're a big kind of a role model. Like, you're older than us, and you're making good metal. It's always nice to meet bands that are older.
Yeah.
That have been doing it a while. It's almost kind of like a role model in the scene.
Sure.
Yeah.
But no, we've got that Ghoul show. We played with Trog with Ghoul.
And I was there, by the way. That was a cool show. I've got some footage up on kcanthem.com.
Nice.
Didn't get any of you guys. I apologize.
And then Jeff passed the word on to Terry from Hammerlord. He was like, hey, check this band out. And he put us on the Mushroom Head show. And
awesome.
that was like the biggest. Like, that was probably about 500 people.
It was
that
a
we
full
played.
crowd.
It was insane.
Mushroom Head. Man. I mean, they're a legendary metal band. What was it like to be able to play on the same show with them?
It's kind
I
of
was stressful.
it was nerve wracking.
It was
like right before we went on, we were trying to tune our guitars. It was like a last minute, like, oh shit, we're out of tune.
It sucked.
And then originally they wanted us to, all the bands that were on the tour, they were all using Psycho Stick's drum kit. And that's what they wanted us to do originally, which normally we'd be okay, but the thing is, RJ's kit has friggin' 8 toms, and this one only had 2. So it was
even the setup of the kit was dramatically different than what he plays.
So,
if he had told me that earlier, even the day before, I would have been okay with that. But we had already brought the drum set there, so it was just kind of
it would have been so weird.
we ended up being able to set up kind of at the side, at this weird little angle. I mean, it was. Mushroom Head, they have those giant drums right in front anyway, so that was already taking up some room.
Yeah, we had this little tiny space we had to play in. We're at the Beaumont, which usually is a giant stage.
Yeah.
I kept nudging
This little area.
We're all crammed in the middle. They're playing.
I was stage right guitar. I kept shoving you. I'm like, God, get over. No one can see me.
But it was awesome. To be completely honest, before the show, a couple days before, I had no idea how many people would be there. We had sold a lot of tickets, but I was like, this could be either we could be playing in front of just the people we sold tickets to, or it could be everybody that wants to see Mushroom Head. And so it's for me, it was more of I have to see it to believe it. And then right before we went on, I went out to look out in the crowd, and it was just a packed
It was
house.
awesome, man.
I was just like, oh,
Nice.
shit.
There were people waiting in line 2 hours before.
These
we
four
went
guys
on, so.
were kind of out in the front of the stage, and I was just kind of in the back playing the drums. But I tried getting into
But
this
it
as
was
much as
it was
possible.
interesting. The show itself is interesting on many levels because it's kind of more of a new metal show. A lot of the bands are a little more
Yeah.
new metalish, and we're this old school.
So they're probably
kind
kinda- They're like, I don't know what to think of this
Yeah,
band
like
kind
the-
of thing.
It was funny because we started out
breakdowns.
really thrashy, and we played a couple of really heavy songs, and they seemed to like that a lot. And then we progressed, we got more melodic, and you could just see everybody was just
I don't know what to think of this.
What-
Why aren't they playing
Yeah.
breakdowns?
why aren't they playing breakdowns?
Right.
But
I hear
everybody
you.
seemed to like it, but it was just interesting.
They just weren't used to it, I guess.
Uh-huh. Well,
But it was still, it was a
you guys are playing a style of music that is pretty rare now. I mean, I would say Hammerlord, Ancient Creation, and you guys are 3 of the more old school, traditional roots of metal bands around here.
Oh, Van Lade's definitely
Van
another-
Lade.
That's awesome.
Meat Shank.
Van Lade, Meat Shank. Yeah, don't want to forget about them. Yeah, they are awesome
There's a
too.
lot of bands.
So, do you think that maybe that style of music could be resurrected and brought
I
back?
think it's
You
already on
know?
the upswing, honestly.
Yeah,
I think
in this time
definitely.
especially.
I mean,
Yeah.
history repeats itself, so hopefully.
Well, good. Good. Maybe we can get rid of all this radio rock crap, butt rock.
Butt rock,
Yeah.
exactly.
God.
I know we're all sick of hearing, the newest version of Even Flow.
Yo, my God.
Not to diss on all the Pearl Jam fans out there, but as far as I'm concerned, they started all this crap.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, well, cool. You guys are badass. There's a lot of people in the chat room talking about how badass you guys are.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
And so now a question. I actually sent out a post the other night to have questions for you guys from fans or
Nice.
friends of mine as well. Dana from Mad Libby, do you guys have any guilty pleasures any bands that you're afraid to admit that you like.
There's no such thing as a guilty pleasure.
I
when you
can't say
like it
that
or
in
you
this
don't.
band.
Joe,
I'll get kicked
Joe,
out.
I want to hear it. What you have to say right
Like,
now.
who's the Prince fan?
I don't have it. That's
Um,
you know what I'm gonna say. It's not gonna be a guilty pleasure because
With
it's
an
not,
upset
it's not
fan.
guilty.
He likes Unearth.
They're not a fan of the breakdown stuff, and they have breakdown.
I think it's all.
They have a lot of melodic. They have a lot of melody. Band
No.
Unearth.
I'd say as far as guilty
Okay.
pleasures go, like I want like anybody have any bands like he's like Prince, like anything that's just like
I like Biggie Smalls.
something.
You guys
Hey,
gonna-
man.
you
Well,
guys
who
gonna-
doesn't?
guys-
I love Notorious.
You guys are gonna
B.I.G.
hate me, but I love Dave Matthews.
Okay.
He's gonna have a jam
I didn't
band.
know that actually. That's news to me.
Yeah, exactly. After this interview's done, I'm gonna get kicked out. So.
NWA.
We will be looking
I knew
for
Dan
you.
hated Dave Matthews.
NWA is
too.
awesome though.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of one of
I don't think
mine.
there's any really guilty
Dan
pleasures.
Rap.
Either you like it or you don't.
Right.
I
I mean,
have
I'm
a
not
couple-
afraid to admit the crap I like. I even like Lady Gaga. I'm gonna say it
Yeah.
on
Yes.
the air. Yeah. There's a guilty pleasure there.
I'm actually a big like 80s new wave fan.
Yeah, that's what I was about to
I
say.
love all that
Anyway.
old stuff. Oh yeah.
And without hats.
People always talk about the 90s like, oh, it was this great savior from the cheesiness of the 80s. I'm like, no, dude.
The 80s was the greatest decade ever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, any of you guys like the hair bands from the 80s? I mean, we were
yeah.
talking
Yeah,
about
man.
one of you, Joe, are you going to Guns N' Roses tonight?
Yeah. My
Yeah.
dad bought some tickets, so we'll see if it's gonna be a shit show or not.
Axl Rose and a handful.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
not a giant fan of hair metal.
Yeah.
I love it. Hair metal's like, I don't know, like it's.
I think it's awesome.
Some of
man.
it's okay, but like Motley Crue.
I think it's fun. I love hair metal. I think it's great. Definitely, you know.
I
like
saw
the
Motley
bands.
Crue over
It
the
has its
summer.
time and place.
Well, like for example, like Steel Panther is that
That's
kind of
badass.
they're on, but they're not one of
That's
every-
just
but
awesome.
obviously they kind of like
They're more of a throwback.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I like them so much is because they kind of like they're more like a cover band even like with their shows like they play a lot of covers. But like honestly, it just reminds me of how fun that hair metal really is. Like it's just
Yeah.
a fun.
Dude, it's like a party.
Running
Yeah,
around in
it's
spandex
awesome.
and sliding across the stage.
I love it.
like you can't take
Chicks
that so
using a whole
serious.
thing of
Yeah.
hairspray on their hair.
I saw Motley Crue over the summer, and I can't tell you how many milfs were there. Just awesome.
Yeah, right?
I was like, man, these are like old enough to be my mom. Man, I'd love to go out with these girls. It was awesome.
Oh, that's
It was
awesome.
a good time. It was like a
It's
big
like
party.
that rock and roll dream show we
Yeah.
went to.
Exactly, man. All these old girls like trying to buy beers. This is awesome. Sweet.
All right, so we've got a good chunk of people watching. Let's tell them what your upcoming shows are.
We're playing the 25th at Aftershock. I guess Slam Radio is having their like kickoff like concert party thing.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah, that's a big deal to get on that
there's-
too. Yeah.
There's a lot of bands. There's a lot of good bands on there, but it's just supposed to be pretty cool. I don't know if they're airing it live or not, but I know like Meatchank is on it. I think Van Lade's on it. We're on it.
A lot of good ones are on it. Oh, yeah.
And then
Is it
we're
collapse
playing December 17th. We're playing at Davies Uptown with Alsasia, Meatchank, Van Lade,
Corroded.
and Garroted. And that's like Garroted's like one of those bands that they don't really come through. They don't come around to Kansas City very
Yeah,
often.
from out by like Kansas,
Yeah.
Omaha, that kind of area.
Yeah, they just don't play KC
Okay.
very often.
Yeah.
And then we're playing.
Well, actually, we got two shows like back to back. December 30th at Aftershock. It's like it's gonna be the Tards' last show, like their send off show, and we're like I'm pretty sure we're gonna be on that. And,
Yeah.
there's gonna be everybody there too. Me, Chang, Van Lade, all those guys, everybody that's worth seeing, I think.
Nice.
And the very next night at Aftershock again, New Year's Eve, we're playing with Psycho Stick. That's gonna be our New Year's Eve show. We got
And
Collapse is on that show too, and they're ending
got-
bands all the time.
We got tickets.
Available on Hellevate.com.
Yeah.
$15.
Hellevate.com. Yeah,
Yeah.
we should. I'm going to go there right now. Keep on talking about your shows. I'm going to pull it
Yeah,
up.
we're gonna go to hellevate.com. It's like our merch tab, I think. It's just because for the longest time, like, well, there's a lot of shows that they were quite. You have to have pre-sale tickets, you have to sell tickets, but it's difficult to have to go out and meet somebody somewhere to sell a ticket. So we ended up just doing like parking lot sales. Like we would just come meet us there. We'll sell a ticket in the parking lot.
Hold on.
And
your website's playing Apocalypse
Oh, yeah.
Rising. Anyway,
Yeah, that comes up automatically. when you go to the
right.
website.
It is a cool website, though, for sure.
Yeah.
there's a pause button down
Yeah.
at the bottom there.
We have a
But,
pretty big show coming up in April.
There we go.
Yeah,
April 26th at the Beaumont Club, Killfest 2012 with Overkill, Aborted, Belphegor,
Diamond
and a
Plate.
handful of other bands.
So awesome.
I'm gonna be at that show for sure.
Yeah,
Belphegor. Yeah, I'm looking forward to them. Talk about heavy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and black metal.
Unfortunately, like
Yeah.
the agent for that festival, there's already like 6. It's a festival, so there's 6 bands on
Festival, yeah.
it, and I guess the agent just didn't want any locals on it. So what happened was Hunt Industries ended up putting together like an after party, kind of like what Hammerween did. And so
That's
it's
going to be at
us,
the Riot Room.
yeah, it's
like next
us,
door to the
Van and
bar.
Marasmus. We're gonna play like right after Overkill. But so people usually like once the shows are done at the Beaumont, you want to keep drinking, so you go over to the Riot Room.
Oh,
and
the
drink
Riot
and
Room
see
definitely
more
gets
bands.
the fans that trickle over there. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and because the Beaumont does close earlier.
And
Usually,
and it's actually it's a part. If you buy a ticket to the Overkill, the festival, like it's actually part of that ticket. So you buy that ticket, it gets
Yeah,
you
the
in
ticket
the boat,
stuff from that show will get you into
get
the
in the
after
boat,
party.
yeah, after party as well. So
nice, badass. I always love when they do that deal. Yeah, that's a cool deal. Well, I'm sure that'll be big. Who else was playing on that Belphegor show? I can't remember. I think is Troglodyte on that or something? Or
Diamond Plate and somebody else. I can't remember.
Hammerlord is on it, right?
no, it's
No,
it's
not
actually there's no
actually.
locals
Oh, really?
on the actual festival. There's only an after party.
Yeah, that's
with
why they have
locals.
the after party because the agent
And
didn't
it's
want any
just
locals
it's
on
Van
there.
Lane, Marasmus, and Hellevate.
Okay.
Only 3 on there.
Interesting. Well, I'll be out there for that for sure. I'm looking forward to it already. All right, so
are we.
let's go with a question from General Von Schiffelbush of Troglodyte. He wanted to know was how awful was the experience of having a show with Trog and Ghoul? How awful.
terrible.
Horrible.
It's terrible.
I could barely bring myself.
They
to
made
play.
me buy this shirt. God.
Yeah. Well, that is actually the family-friendly shirt that you have
Yeah.
there. If you see
Doesn't
their
that
more
Bigfoot
recent
ripping someone
ones,
in half.
yes, there's
Family.
some highly
Actually,
offensive ones. Yeah.
Troglodyte is just
PG-13.
like they're one of those bands that for the longest time, like we've known about them for a while, as well as Hammerlord, and they're just like one
Yeah.
of those bands where like we're dying to get a show together with them, and once it finally happened, we were just like all excited. But at the same time, it was almost kind of like it's funny. It's kind of intimidating because like you see just with their masks, like you don't really know them as people, so like they're just this,
Yeah.
there's this
Giant
grindcore,
mistake.
I know what you mean.
grindcore Bigfoot metal band, and you're just
Yeah.
like
Bigfoot's gonna rape me.
But they ended up being like they're just like they are seriously the nicest guys. Like
Yeah.
They're awesome.
No, they seem very unapproachable when you see them
They're
play
like
on
the coolest
stage.
guys ever, though.
Yeah,
They're awesome.
Actually, Ben, General Von Schiffelbush, I remember the first time that I saw him with his mask, I thought he was like 9 feet tall. He looked, and then once you get to know him, he gets a little shorter.
It's 'cause
He gets
stands-
more
he
into
stands
like,
next to Gary on stage, and Gary's like 4'5".
Yeah.
and he's like this giant.
Hey, don't be talking shit on short people, man.
No, Gary's cool. Yeah, Gary, and then Jeff is he's just the nicest guy. He's a Renaissance man. Like Jeff, like
guy's
he
awesome,
does
yeah.
everything. Like that guy
Walks
is,
around in his like blue jean suspenders and mortician shirt.
He's like he does everything. That guy's like he's a graphic artist. He does like art for like movies.
Makes
and,
his own masks and
I mean,
it's
he's
awesome.
just like he's an everyman. He's awesome. But yeah, no,
agree.
it was a really cool experience working with those guys and getting to share a stage with them. And Ghoul too. Ghoul's just
Incredible.
oh my god.
that was pretty nuts. And they're the big robot
Yeah,
thing
that
that they
was
had
the
out there.
highlight.
They worked with the guy from Guar who made all their costumes and everything. So that's how they got that.
And then they ended up going out on tour with Guar, and then Guar's guitarist just recently
it's
died.
sad.
And I saw that Guar played Unmasked the other night for
Wow.
and one of the members of Ghoul was standing there on the stage. So that's kind of weird. You guys have that direct connection with Guar now. So that's
cool.
badass.
yeah. That was weird because when I first saw that online about Flaxmus Matty or whatever his name is, Maximus Flat or yeah,
Gladys Maximus.
Flatus Maximus. He died. It was just weird because we had just played with Ghoul and they were on their way to go towards Guar, and I think Jeff at the Hammerween like showed me a picture, one of the members of Guar, and I think
it was their singer actually.
it was
Like,
a
he
singer.
designed
I
one
couldn't
of
remember
their
it was
shirts.
singer or it was actually the guy who died. It was one of the two. Actually, he had a picture of him wearing a Troglodyte shirt.
Yes,
And then
No,
I saw that, and
I
it
know
was
Dave
like-
Brocky has pictures up wearing Trog shirt.
Yeah.
That's
Didn't
crazy.
he design them too?
How does that happen? Yeah, he actually drew that artwork for him, and it's nuts.
It was
I don't
just
know.
it was nuts. Like just.
That's still cool though.
And then
Oh, it's
hearing
awesome.
about him dying, you're just like, wow, like you almost feel like you have I mean, I don't know. Of course, we didn't play with Guar, but it was just I messaged one of the guys from Ghoul, and or I'd seen him. He posted something on there about like he seemed like he was really happy the night before he had died, and he didn't seem like anything was wrong with him, and it was just one of those weird situations. Like they're actually crossing over to Canada, I think, or crossing back to the States, and they found him dead, and it was just. It's one of those things, you don't expect, you don't see it coming, and he was young and healthy, and
I'm guessing that drug use was involved somewhere.
That's what that's the first thing I thought.
I don't think they made announcements about it. So.
No, I haven't heard an official.
We'll see.
So I could be wrong. I don't know.
But that was going for what I was.
Yeah,
awesome.
and there's some footage of that. A few clips of that are on KCAnthem.com. So if you're watching, maybe it's the first time you've ever watched the KC Anthem interview. There's all kinds of interviews on KCAnthem.com. Last weekend we had Existum on. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. They're a fairly new progressive metal band. Yeah, they're badass. I like them a lot. Cool. Next weekend I've got Hate Inc. coming on.
Oh yeah,
pretty well known rock metalish.
Oh yeah, they
band.
They got a huge following.
And that's going to be a good one. So November, it's definitely been the most metal month, I would say, of KC Anthem's history. 3 weekends of metal. And then I didn't book a show on the 26th because Gornography is going to be making their return.
Playing. And all them. I saw that.
And I've got to be at that show. So if you like heavy metal, death metal, come out to that one for sure. It's the Riot Room, I'm sure. And November 20th, I've got a show that I'm promoting. It's a rap show, believe it or not. So it's kind of weird that I'd be promoting it right now, but it's called Half-Wits for Humanity. And there's a Toys for Tots thing going on there. If you bring a toy, you get in for free. And it's at Jerry's Bait Shop. Bunch of rappers on there. Mental Breakdown, Wasteland Warriors, Trip the Clown, a list. Big list of them. So be there for that, November 20th, Jerry's Bait Shop. Now, we recently, in this last week, didn't we have an earthquake in Kansas City? What in the hell is going on?
Actually, we were out on his porch at the time. We didn't even notice it. So
I didn't know that.
I didn't feel anything.
I saw a picture online of has like a set of like picnic tables and a chair falling.
No, I saw that picture.
Like Kansas City earthquake 2011. We will rebuild.
I was gonna repost that because I thought it was funny, but then I figured, I'd be the guy to repost that, and then we have like a devastating earthquake, and I'm like, I feel like a complete ass.
Oops, jinx.
But it was a minor tremor that came from Oklahoma. Yeah.
I heard they've been having that in Arkansas now.
Really?
Anyway.
Man, hopefully the new Madrid isn't waking up. That would be no good.
We would be in trouble.
So you're working on an album right now, right? And that's probably going to be out 2012, I would imagine.
Sure.
What's the deal behind that? Is there a concept? What are your lyrics about? First of all,
I don't know. It's kind of just a lot of our songs that we've done so far, combined with some of the newer stuff we've written.
Yeah, there's
not like a unifying concept, I guess, but it's it's Hellevate's first album, so
okay.
I guess as far as lyrics go, we kind of roll over the place. A lot of it's kind of typical, it's definitely metal themed. We got a song called "Eat Fear Shit Victory," which is just utter chaos. It's just I don't know. It's supposed to be funny, and then we got songs about Vikings, and we've got songs
to Kill Rising. Ryan and I wrote the lyrics to Urge to Kill Rising previously after we saw a Monomorph. So we wanted to write about Vikings.
We had just seen a Monomorph play, and they had this song we had just put together, and I was like, what, this sounds like it could be a definite Viking metal song, so let's write it about.
I love a Monomorph, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
So it's pretty diverse, the things you write about, not just one sort of theme, just anything metal-ish.
Anything we want to write about, we'll do it.
Yeah, we definitely don't stick to a certain formula. We're just kind of let's write about that.
Right.
Well, there's so you can only be so original. A lot of things have been there with metal. Been there, done that with lyrics. A lot of the greats of a lot of people write about Valhalla and Thor. And, a lot of the all that Norse mythology, and we don't we've only touched on that. We haven't really ever touched on that, but that Urge to Kill Rising is about as close as it gets. But other than that, it's bands come to mind would be Overkill and Megadeth and
Yeah.
Slayer, like just songs, literally songs are just kind of
Megadeth has a new album just came out. It's pretty good. The songs I've heard on it, you know.
Yeah, I need to.
I have two.
Yeah, we
lyrics, so I need that.
It's pretty good. You know, it's not like I'll drop the Metallica bomb. You know, it's not like they like changed their style and cut their hair or something. It's Megadeth. You know,
album with Lou Reed.
it's
whatever.
it's Megadeth. Yeah,
Exactly.
they came out with some new ridiculous album recently, didn't they? Metallica.
Yeah, it was
I don't know who
really
Lou
bad.
Reed
Yeah.
is, but
the table.
yeah.
Lou Reed. He was the guy from Velvet Underground. And,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. They just kind of came together, did a project in like a couple months, and it's like horrible.
A few months ago, over
pretty
the summer, my friends went out to Oklahoma City to the Mayhem Festival to see Megadeth
Oh, yeah,
play.
this is-
I went along with them, and we only went to see Megadeth. We didn't like any of the other bands there, and it was like really hot out. We had been up for a long time. And finally, one more band's supposed to go on, then it'll be Megadeth. And they came out and said that Megadeth isn't playing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I saw
someone
the
sick or something?
Slayer Testament this
Yeah, last summer I
past
think it was.
last summer.
Oh, that was a
I got to
that was
meet
a damn
Testament at
good
that show actually.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
on that
nice.
show too.
Testament where? When they came
That's
playing here?
Sandstone.
Sandstone. Yeah.
Okay.
It's an American car.
I saw him play at the Beaumont. I think Troglodyte played that show.
Testament did?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was like a summer tour. I remember that.
Yeah, it was a couple years
I was gonna
ago.
go to that, but I didn't able. I don't know.
The Testament's
anyways.
those one of those bands I'd never seen before, and I love them. Chuck Billy's definitely one of my big influences. He's just got a great voice, and seeing them live was definitely
all those.
Yeah,
guys.
that's where you get the
Awesome.
like holding that half a mic stand from is Chuck Billy.
that, and also
I know.
Anthrax,
Anthrax,
Joey
yeah.
Belladonna, and then all even like Freddie Mercury. I don't know. It's moving on to that subject. I don't know. I don't know with the mic stand. Like I don't. For no reason, like I'd seen, obviously the greats that had done that. I just always loved that because there's like I don't know. I like to have props, but I don't know when you're a local band playing local shows and you're an opener, you can't really do a lot of stuff on stage. You know,
Unless you do a lot of free
yeah.
planning.
Let's do like an hour. But anyway, so I really wanted something to like to hold on to and to do stuff with, and the mic stand is just perfect for that. Like I'll act like it's a gun at times, and I can. And just doing that, it's just fun. That's definitely I love doing that. Some people do the full mic stand, and that just for me, that's too much. It's too bulky. I'd rather have the small half.
So would you have props if you could then?
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We sometimes we'll do little
crazy
props,
stuff.
but like I love. Yeah. For me, like the most. I don't know. For me, growing up, my biggest influence as far as like rock or metal goes is definitely like Alice Cooper. Like that was probably the most metal thing I'd ever listened to when I was
He's
young.
got a tattoo.
Yeah, I got a tattoo of Raise Your Fist and Yell.
Absolutely.
Nice.
But no, Alice Cooper, like that's just what he was known for. Is just all his just crazy antics on stage. Like I grew up loving that. I'm a huge like theater. Like I love theatrics.
Sure.
And if we ever
Yeah.
had like the funds and the opportunity, I would go all out. Sure.
Right on.
We'd go all, Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper, like they just were like the masters of that. And
Sure.
if you have the funds for it, or even like Guar, I don't know. I love theatrics when it comes. It's supposed to be entertaining, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I support
Pay to
that.
see,
Yeah.
You got to entertain them.
Yeah.
I mean, that just
I
goes
agree.
without
And
saying,
especially
yeah.
now that you can't make as much money off CDs and stuff, I mean, you need to have other things to
draw
bring
people, yeah.
to bring people out, yeah, and distinguish yourself as a band from the tons and tons of bands that sound similar. So George Carlin, RJ,
Oh God.
you met George Carlin
When I was 4.
when you were 4 years old.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
You bastard.
And for those who are watching, yes, I can see your chat, and no, they shouldn't start breaking stuff. That is not going to benefit the show. But yeah, I have a Shining Time station. What is that? VHS. That's what those things are called. Box on the wall, and George Carlin was in that. And I thought, it's weird that we grew up watching George Carlin as kids. If you watch that show, and never knew that, hey, screw you if you think I'm lame. Head like a roadmap. Go somewhere else and watch some other internet TV show in Kansas City. But yeah, so no wonder we're all screwed up from watching George Carlin as a kid. We didn't know, and he's like the most dirty.
He was the voice for
Yeah.
Tom's the Train, wasn't he?
He was
Right.
The conductor.
The conductor, yeah. Which is
Narrator.
awesome.
I don't remember this, but apparently when we met him, my mom goes, "Riley, look, it's Mr. Conductor."
So
He was one of.
Michael Smith from the Tards. I'm being heckled on here for the first time. Damn it, you guys brought in the real scumbags.
Michael Smith. Oh yeah.
Michael Smith
Michael.
has like a weird question, and you don't have to answer it, but I was supposed to ask Zach about his incident in the pool in Texas.
Oh, nice.
We were all in the pool in Texas, maybe around 6 in the morning, and I might have skinny dipped in the pool a little bit.
Yeah, we went down to Dallas to play. We jumped on a couple dates on Phantom X's tour, and we stayed at like a Holiday Inn Express or something. The funny thing is like, I don't know, at the time I was working a lot, and I was exhausted, so I like passed out early. Everybody else stayed up late. This guy, he's like our Ozzy of our band. Zach is definitely the crazy guy. Mm-hmm. He stayed up until 6 in the morning.
Well, so did I.
They were drinking Coca-Cola and eating
Coca-Cola,
Lay's chips,
shit,
Candy bars.
eating Oreo. Anyways, they were getting really excited,
Caffeine
hyper off of.
That's what you do at 16. You don't got alcohol, so you got
Anyways, so he
candy bars.
ended up decided to go skinny dipping. I was not up there for that. Thank God.
He decided to jump out so
I
he
walked
could show.
outside.
So yeah, Michael, I know you wanted to be there for that because we know you love to see naked men.
Especially 16-year-old men.
But
Okay,
Michael,
so yeah,
By the way-
that was a weird incident.
Yeah.
By the way, Zach, I was
Damn
on.
pedophile.
So I think we've covered just about everything. If you guys have anything to say in closing, we're going to end up playing the one song that you have on reverbnation.com/Hellevate.
Yes.
Everybody go there. You can go to your Facebook and like you, facebook.com/Hellevate, correct? And you're on Facebook a lot, right? You guys get on there and interact with the fans.
well, yeah, networking.
It's a good tool. Any shout outs?
I'm single,
Okay.
so if there's any women out
Okay, so
single.
Joe is single.
yeah,
I want to give a shout out to all our favorite bands in the
not for
area.
men.
Everybody needs,
Preferably
everybody
women.
needs to go check these bands out. Meat Shank, Van Lade, The Tards, Troglodyte, Hammerlord, Ancient Creation, Alsasia.
Collapse. Did you say collapse?
Also,
I can't remember
check out. There's a
Eddie's mates.
they're
not-
they're kind of like our PR. They're not a band, but they're like our PR. Like they help
Yeah.
manage and promote us, and they definitely do a lot of good things for bands. So.
Yeah, they manage Phantom X out of Texas, who they actually toured with Anvil a little while ago.
What's the name of this company you're talking about?
Eddie's mates.
Eddie's Mates, as in
Okay.
Iron Maiden, Eddie.
Nice.
And yeah, they manage a handful of bands. We're one of them.
Yeah, check them out. They're definitely cool people to talk to, and they got a lot of
Oh, yeah.
good advice. But anyways,
Good.
yeah, as far as bands go, any other bands you want to shout out?
Not bands. Brandon, thanks for helping us like set up on all our shows. And stuff,
Yeah,
so.
Brandon's
Brandon's kind of our drum tech, like drum roadie guy.
he's
Not
also
just
a damn
drums,
good.
but, like,
Also, if you guys are
everything.
looking for a drummer, contact us. We'll hook you up with Brandon. He is a damn good drummer. He is
He knows
pristine. He knows his shit. He's good. So definitely, if anyone's looking for a drummer, Brandon Palmer is definitely somebody to look into. So yeah, that's
Right on.
And then, yeah, I don't know. Every other band we mentioned, I guess.
Yeah, and go out to your shows. The very next one is which?
The 25th for the Slam Radio thing.
That's
Out at Aftershock.
that's in November.
Yeah. 25th,
Okay,
think.
I didn't know that was coming up so soon. Slam Radio debut. Is it a Project Backstage event, or are they calling it a Slam Radio
it's just Slam
Involved with-
show?
Yeah, I think it might be involved with Project
Might be, yeah.
Backstage, but I'm not entirely
But
sure.
it's pretty
Yeah.
much just it's
Slam
almost like a
Radio.
festival. It's just like a lot of good local
Slam.
bands that are kind of doing a kickoff to Slam Radio, and I guess that's another online like radio station. I'm going to assume. I don't know if it's.
I heard something about them broadcasting live. I don't know if they're going to do
But yeah, that's what I was saying. They might
That'd be
broadcast
cool.
it online, so if you can't make it, definitely check that out.
Right on. Slam Radio, support them. I had Project Backstage, Frank Arena, and Amber Queen Kitty Higgins of Kittens of Chaos on
She's awesome.
a couple weeks ago. That was cool. That was a big deal. And they're doing good things around here. We've got a lot of good things happening in Kansas City. I'm glad to see that there's another solid metal band that is coming into their own and getting well known around here.
I definitely think things are on the upswing.
I agree.
Personally.
I agree. Kansas City's a great place to be right now. It's good times. So thanks a lot, guys. Hellevate, I'm gonna have you on again next year, 2012, for updates.
Absolutely.
Good luck with your album. Next Saturday, I've got Hate Inc. on the show. So tune into that for sure. November 20th, Half-Wits for Humanity, if you like rap. And thanks for the questions from everybody out there. General Von Schiffelbush, Dana, Michael Smith.
Thanks.
And we're going to play this song here to end. This is Apocalypse Rising. You want to set this up for me?
Drunk
It's kind of like it's a preview to our album. We still got some more mixing and stuff to do
It's
to
kind
it.
of like a
But
single cut.
it's just
sort of.
like, this will give you an idea what's to come on the album. It's basically about zombies, and I always say it's about drunk zombies.
It's about zombies.
28 days
Okay.
later, kind of. That was the inspiration, I guess. So
Right on. This is Apocalypse Rising,
Yeah.
and you've been watching Hellevate on KC Anthem.
yeah.